Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. It is Wednesday, it's June you guys. It's Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live, and we're gonna have some fun with some beautiful paper that I just can't seem to put down. It's called Scenic Coast. And it's from the Scenic Coast suite of products. So I'll show that to you in just a minute, but I do want to mention that the Scenic Coast suite of products is what we are featuring. I'm going to my blog right now. I'm going to show you what we are featuring in our All-Star Video Class Bundle this month. So those people who purchase, here's peaks of the products right here. Those people that purchase, or projects, those people that purchase $50 worth of product from me, if you live in the US, you can purchase from me. And if you purchase at least $50 worth of product, you get this link to this, All-Star Video Class Bundle in your thank you email for free. You can also purchase it. So let's say you're a demonstrator or you're a customer of another demonstrator, you can, or you live in another country, you can purchase it from me on my website. My website is, again, stampyourartout.com. And when you're here, you can click on the shop, you can go to tutorial, logo, items, and more, and go to tutorials, and it'll take you to that actual area where you can purchase these tutorials, okay? So that is the Scenic Coast bundle that I'm going to be, or the Scenic Coast suite, which we're gonna feature today. And the reason why I say I can't put it down is because not only did we do projects for this bundle, this video class bundle, but I have had already a couple blog posts that I've made some cards with. And so let me just give you a quick glimpse at that. And then we're gonna go ahead and let's see here. There we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and get started. So this post is from April 17th, I believe. And then the post right after, and here's the cards. So it was like how to show off that beautiful paper so that you don't waste a lot of it. And then if we scroll up and we go to April 18th, you can see that I've also got a couple other types of cards in there. And I don't have all of them with me, which is why I'm showing them to you here, because I don't have them all with me in my hands. Should we go to the desktop? Let's do that. And while we're doing that, let's give a big shout out to Trisha Joseph. She is my moderator. She's here with us today to answer all of our questions, guide you in the right direction, give you links to products and that sort of thing. She's here to help you out because I don't always catch the comments as I'm doing the live because I'm trying to teach, but she's here to be that person for me. Also, I do want to point out that, and so thank you, Trisha. And I do want to point out that in the description of the video, you'll see links to the products that I use. This is the suite of products we're going to feature today, Scenic Coast. And you can see that there's a stamp set die bundle in here, beautiful papers, and some embellishments. You get some amazing inspiration from the pages in here too. Let's take a peek at those items. Oh my gosh, Rachel. Yeah, I don't have a lot left. I have been loving up this paper so much. This is all I have left as far as full sheets, full 6x6 sheets from my first pack. I need to order more. This is the bundle of stamps and dies. Here's the stamps, and then these are the dies. And so you can see the coordination. You can see some frame type dies in there that cut out certain images. You can also see some standalone type detailed dies in there. And then we have sentiments, lots of different sentiments. Now the paper, before I go to the embellishments, the paper is to die for. Look at that iridescent-y, shimmery, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And you can see that we have different sunrises, sunset type images in here. Also on the back side, you have kind of a monochromatic, so almost monochromatic kind of design so that you can have like, you know, more subtle types of things. And then there are like a whole bunch of different sheets in here, but these are the only ones I have left. Okay, and then we also have the Sunset Sparkle sequins, and I'm using those up too. They are fun. They are semi-flat, so they, you know, go through the mail pretty easily without adding extra postage. I love those kinds of embellishments. So you'll want to get that suite. You'll want to get your hands on it. Today, I was looking for the cards. Today I was looking at my scraps and my pieces, and I decided that it might be fun to bring back the type of card called the Sunburst card. So you can take scraps of these and cut them into long triangles. Let's do that with a full sheet first. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my trimmer and one of the 6x6 sheets, and we're going to trim this into 1-inch strips. Now I'm just going to start at 3 inches because that way I can stack them and cut more at once at the same time. So I'm going to stack at 3 inches, 2 sheets, and then we're going to cut 1 inch and another inch, and we now have 6-inch strips, 6 1-inch wide strips that are cut and ready to go. And then we can take these and we can probably do 3 at a time, which is what I did before. So let's go ahead and cut 3 at a time. I'm going to stack them so that all the skies are on the top and all the water parts are on the bottom. And we're going to make sure that they're all in alignment. I'm going to angle it in my trimmer so that you can see this channel, which this is where the blade goes through, is going to cut from corner to opposite corner. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down real carefully, put my arm on my trimmer down. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Hang on. Hang on. Let's do that again. I want to start with my blade somewhat in the middle because I don't want to push into the corner. Okay, so I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to hold down this area nice and firm so that the paper underneath doesn't move. And we're going to go out, and then we're coming back, and then we're going to go out again, and that will now cut our papers into triangles. I'm going to put these over here. Then I'm going to do the same thing with this one, making sure my skies and my waters are all ups and downs, right? I want to have my sky up and my water down. I'm going to do the same kind of cut just to keep consistent. Corner to corner. Oopsie. It might have been faster to just do 1 strip at a time. And then we're going to go ahead and hold it down. Blade starts in the middle, cut out and away, come back, cut out. All right. Let's move these over here. Let's grab our cardstock base. We're going to use basic white cardstock, and I have already cut it in half, but I'm just going to show you that with 8.5 by 11 cardstock, you want to put your left edge on your trimmer at the 5.5 inch mark, and then you're going to slice, and then you get a half a piece. Once you get that half a piece, you have 2 halves, by the way. Then we're going to then we're going to score in this direction halfway, and half of 8.5 is 4 1/4. So we're going to score here with our blade that is not sharp. And we'll take and fold that in half. And we'll move it over. I'm going to put that black cardstock over there because I'm going to refer to that later on. There are a lot of supplies that are listed, but you don't need all of them for each card, okay? I've listed lots of supplies in the description of the video because I'm showing lots of different cards. For this card, you need a white base, and then you need the pretty strips, and then a scrap of white, and a scrap of crumb cake is what I'm using this time, or you could use a colored cardstock or whatever. So let's go ahead and bring our papers in, and we're going to do kind of a fun little pattern with them. So you can see that they're already positioned so that the skies are up and the water's down. We're going to flip these so that all of our triangles are now pointing downward, but I still have them in 2 separate piles. Now, if I were to do the sunburst technique and I were to start in, say, a lower corner, you can see I would only have to go that far with my paper pieces. They would only have to build in like that far. It's a 45-degree angle. If I start up higher, like here, I would have to come around, and then I'd have to go around again to finish that. Is that 90 degrees? Sorry, that was 90 degrees. To finish 180 degrees, right? I would have to go all the way around like that. But I am going to start up higher, and I'm going to leave the bottom blank. So I'm still going to fill in, but I'm only going to go 90 degrees. okay? And the reason for that is because if you look at this, if I go all the way to this corner, this strip is not long enough on a 6x6 piece of designer paper to reach all the way up into that opposite corner on my my letter size card base, okay? So I'm gonna come up about here. You can see that's about how far I can go, about 1¼ inches from the base. So that's how I figured out how to start this card, is I took one of these strips, I went to the furthest corner away and decided where can I go to so I can really fill in that top portion, and then the bottom portion I'm going to leave blank. Now that's here. I'm going to move this over. Another thing, in fact, I'll show you this now. Okay. Another thing that I want to teach you is how to glue. So if you're going to glue these strips, and they're going to go like this, because we're going to go every other. So water up, water down, water up, water down. See what I'm doing here? Water up. And then you get this fun look that is like, whoa, that's an interesting kind of sunset or sunrise, right? Because you have this, it's, I don't know, it's psychedelic-y kind of. So if you're going to do this, you would want to take a couple strips and you'd want to put them next to each other, but in the opposite direction so that you can put your adhesive on. So let me demonstrate with these two. I'm going to put these back because it'll help me to track better if I put them back. Okay, so I'm going to take two opposite strips. I have a sun up and a sun down. Okay, I'm going to put them like this. I'm going to flip them over, and now they're a rectangle. So I can take my seal adhesive and I can start going down really close to this edge. But if you look at this, can you see how the adhesive, hopefully, yeah, you can, how the adhesive is going across that tiny little, maybe if I angle it this way, there we go. You can see how the adhesive is going across that skinny little part there. So that's what I'm trying to do, is get the adhesive to go down that skinny little part, and any extra is going to go onto this piece here. But then I also want to make sure that I've filled in enough where I have adhesive going down the whole entire strip. So I can pull these apart and I can go ahead and start. Now again, figure out where that little spot's going to be, which is right about here. And that is, hang on. Let's use the grid lines, shall we? Let's do that. Okay, so if I have my paper, so it's actually about 1.5 inches from the bottom. Can you see all these squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I start about there with my point, then I'm going to be safe going around. So I'm going to start actually at the edge, but I know that it's going to build up on itself. So I'm going to start at the edge about 1.5 inches up and go really close to that edge like that. Okay, then I'm going to take this one, and this is the opposite one. It's going in the other direction. So now I'm going to put that right next to this other one that I just did. In fact, if you want to keep your grid paper in place, that would help. Okay. Oopsie. It's sticky. The paper's sticky. I want to avoid the paper being sticky. So instead of putting the adhesive on the back side of that, I'm going to slather it on the white paper. The time that you'd want to do it on the back side, like I just shared though, is if you're going to space them apart with a gap. I have black cardstock here that I have laid these little triangle pieces on, and there's a white gap between them. So if I were to put adhesive all the way across the back and then put my strips on, there'd be shiny little pieces of adhesive showing through. So I made sure that I did it the way I just taught you for this layer. This layer, by the way, is made up of 3 different kinds of paper scraps. We'll come back to that later. So now let's go ahead and put our adhesive on here. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my grid lines to know where the bottom kind of is. And then I'll go ahead and add my adhesive throughout. It doesn't have to be everywhere, but just enough to kind of like secure the pieces in place, right? Okay, so let me show you what I did there. Can you see that? Lots of adhesive. Okay, so we went sky up, sky down. So now we need another sky up. And I don't know, which one do I want to use? I'll use this one. So you kind of want to make them all look different as you do this. Put them right next to each other for this one, because we don't want any gaps on this. That was sky up. Now I want sky down. And I think I'm going to grab a purpley one. And just start adding them so that they're flush right next to each other. Sky up. Let's do this blue one here. Do you see how I'm trying to make them all kind of different so that, yeah, because I had dark blue here, then I had kind of a purplish water, and now I'm going with the dark blue again. Okay, let's do this one. And then we'll do, so yeah, just going back and forth, picking whatever now. All right. Now, as I'm building this up, I have this area here blank, like there's no adhesive in that area at all. Let's do this one next because it's kind of different and it looks more like that one. And we'll go right in here. And you can see I'm almost to the point where I can stop. Let's see. Let's do that one. And if you start to kind of come in here and you see this gap down here, that's okay, because I'm going to show you how we're going to cover that. In fact, let's just do that now. Let's go ahead and accidentally go further in like that. Do you see that? And I'm going to pull this up because my adhesive isn't quite all the way down there. And I want it to be all the way down there. So I'm going to add a little bit more in through here. Okay. So yeah, let's say I did that and I have this little spot here. See that? There's like a little hole there. It's okay. It's okay because we're going to cover that up with a unique little extra border thing. Let's do, what would the next one be? Water. Okay. Now, do you see what I'm doing here too? I have sort of like this fill-in spot here that maybe is going too low on that side, but it's okay. I'm going to flip these over and I'm going to take one of them and kind of go like that with it to fill in that space. And it's not going to stick down yet, but I'm going to kind of have that little gappage. You know what? I am going to take this out of here because I think it's going down too low. Let's see. There, that works. And then I'm just going to roll this adhesive out of the way because there was a little bit too much there. Okay, maybe on the last couple strips, you want to do the technique I taught you at the beginning. We're just going to roll that up there, take one of these, and lay it down. And that looks pretty darn good. That looks comparable to my other one. Okay, so now we can take and trim all this excess off. And I like to use a long bladed scissors for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this one here. You could use like your snips, your detailed scissors, any kind of scissors that you have that you're comfortable with. But for me, I like to use a long one because I feel like I'm aiming better if I have a long blade to guide me. Okay, let's move these to the trash. I know, it's such pretty paper. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, what do we have? Oh, that's pretty. If this is bugging you, you can totally get like adhesive eraser in there, but I don't think it might, maybe it'll affect it. Let's go ahead and grab the adhesive eraser. So this will just kind of like roll it into little gummy balls that are full of, yeah, it's gross looking, isn't it? It's probably because I had ink or something on this earlier. But there we have our little rolls of adhesive. Yuck. And it looks like I have a piece of something underneath this one corner here, but we are going to cover that, so I'm not worried about that. So how is everybody doing today as I'm trying to get my adhesive off here? Okay, that looks good. I don't know what that is. Let's see if that covers up. Yeah, it'll cover it up. Okay, so now what we're going to do, this is going to go up on dimensionals, which is why I kind of got rid of a lot of that because I didn't want it to accidentally stick down in the wrong place. So yeah, your last ones, try to... What is that? Oh my gosh. There's something caught under there. Oh, it's just a piece of fuzz. Okay, I thought it was stuck underneath. It's a piece of paper, piece of designer paper. Lives are fun. Okay, so that's gonna go in here. But before we put it up on dimensionals, I thought we would decorate it up a bit to make it more maritime or nautical or whatever. So I've die cut already this piece of like netting from some crumb cake cardstock. We're gonna bring the machine over though, because we're gonna die cut this white piece. So for those of you that haven't done any die cutting before, it's pretty darn simple. You get a machine like this. This is our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So we have number 1, number 2, number 3, and the third one is scratchy. I'm gonna take one of the dies out of here. I'm gonna take the lighthouse die and we're gonna place that onto our white scrap here, but I only need the lighthouse portion of it. I'm not using the whole piece, so it's okay that I only have that on there. We're gonna put the other number 3 plate on top, and then we'll press this down, sandwich it all nice and tight, and roll it through. You wanna make sure that everything's straight as you're pressing it through and you're cranking the handle on the roller part. And we are die cutting. See what happens there? We cut it. That's what this die did. Oops, where'd it go? That's what this die did with the crumb cake cardstock. Okay, and then we'll just peel this away. And we want this piece. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this out of here. And we'll take all the extra little chads out of here. So you can take and poke those through. And we will then put some dimensionals on this too. So this piece and this piece will be up on dimensionals, but we want to decorate the yellow one first. I'm going to move these out of the way. Okay, so we've got our yellow one. We're going to grab this piece, and I want to glue it on here so it kind of has the look of the netting kind of like wrapping around this. So we're going to take and grab our silicone sheet and our glue, our multi-purpose liquid glue. We'll put a little dab of glue up here, and we'll grab our silicone brush. So the silicone brush, just take any silicone brush that you like cook with or whatever. You trim off the ends so they're nice and blunt, and this becomes the little applicator for putting glue on your tiny or your detailed pieces. So I'm going to flip this over, and we're just going to add some glue. And actually, let's find out where we're going to place it first, because we don't need to glue the whole thing. Let's glue it through the middle. I guess we might be gluing a lot of it, but keep your paper still as you're doing this, because you don't want any glue to kind of shift to the front. Once you have that done, you can lift this up. You can then take and place this down like that. And once it's in place, then you can take and trim. And we'll just use that long bladed scissors again. And we'll trim up. In fact, I'll do that over the top of this because there's a little glue on the rest of it. We'll just put it like that. Okay, next, to make this even more nautical, I'm gonna move this out of the way, by the way. We're gonna grab some linen thread, which is gonna look like, I don't know, rope. And we're gonna wrap that around loosely a couple times. Oops. Like that. And if you want to, you can do a little tie with the linen thread, tie a little knot. So we'll do that really quickly. Let's see here. I'm gonna shift it a little bit. Make it artsy, artsy fartsy. And then we'll do a knot. And again, it's really loose because I don't want it to be, I want it to kind of sit separately and wide like that. Let's see if we can curl it. Sometimes I'm able to curl this stuff too. There's a little curl. Have you ever done that? Just take the blade of your scissors. You can do this with wrapping paper ribbon too, right? But it has worked with twine before. See how we get that fun little curl in there? Okay, so now we will take this and we'll add it to this part of the card so that this is straight on the top. And it also covers up that little white gap down there that I purposely made. But on my first card, I didn't purposely make it. We're gonna flip this over and we're gonna add dimensionals. Now for dimensional choices, if you're using white paper, I would say use white dimensionals. We have them in both regular size and in the mini size. And then we also have a package of black dimensionals that have both sizes in them. And for the other card that I'm gonna show you second, I will use the black dimensionals on that. So let's go ahead and take and put some dimensionals down. And if you want to, you can secure dimensionals in that spot too. I'm just gonna go ahead and put a few coming through here. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll need one on the end. But I'm first gonna position this and then I'll lift up the corner and stick it on the end, okay? So let's go ahead and take these off. Let's line up everything onto the grid paper again. Gotta love the grid paper. So that's gonna go here so that we can make sure that this, which is gonna go right there to cover up that spot. Oh, we have to go even higher because look at that, see that? We have to go higher. We have to go up to almost 1, 2, 3, 7 little squares up. So then we can put it down like that. Gosh, we have to go even higher, Rachel. Maybe we should put one of those other ones in there. We could do that and just put a portion of it like that. Let's do that. Okay, sounds good. And because I don't have another one, I'm just gonna stick the adhesive on there like that. Okay, let's fill in the gap and do a little bit right in here so that we don't have to go so high. Every one of these cards turns out different. Okay, put it on the grid paper again. So now 1 1/4 inches, 1 1/4 inches, and a little beyond. Now we can really make sure that we're covering up that spot. There, that looks good. See, and that's what we needed to kind of fill in. So we have a straight piece going across here as far as straight on top. This is angled on the bottom. And we did bring it right up to this, but if you want to go beyond and then trim it, you could do that too. This is still not secured down, so I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to add a tiny little dimensional right there, like that. Okay, take off the backing. Might actually have to glue this down a bit too. Let's get some glue under there. I'm going to use my precision tip bottle for that. Get a little glue under here. Okay. Now we'll just flatten it all down and trim off the excess. So you could instead, I don't have it with me, but if you had like a white strip of cardstock, you could just put it across the bottom and then you could put your sentiment on there. You don't have to get fancy like this. I'm getting fancy like this because I wanted to add these fun die cut pieces. I wanted to add netting, the look of netting or you know, fishnet type stuff on here, right? So now we're gonna take our lighthouse and we're gonna add this, and we're not gonna do the whole lighthouse thing because I wanna put words down here. So I'm actually gonna trim it here and right in through here. So we've separated out that whole bottom portion, and then I'm gonna bring it over about that far and stick it on my card right there, just to give a little imagery over here. So let's grab and flip it over and put dimensionals on the back side. And I put one down here, knowing that that's going to sit below the paper. Okay. And then the other one that I'm going to put on is going to go up here in this area. You kind of have to like put things in place and then know where to, where you're going from there. So now let's take the backings off and let's tuck that up in there, stick it down straight, flip it over, and trim off the ends. Now, if you're not confident about stamping, you could at this point, instead of stamping down here, you could stamp on a separate piece of white paper, put a strip through there. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I hope it works. Congratulations, let's do congratulations. Blueberry bushel, I think, would be a good color for this one. On my other card that I'm gonna show you in just a minute, I used melon mambo. So let's use blueberry bushel. Try not to get any ink on this portion of your block because you're going to possibly be touching the other areas of your card, right? So just carefully ink just the word congrats and stamp that down in that little lower right corner. So I'm touching the lighthouse with my block because my block is lifted up, or my lighthouse is lifted up on dimensionals. So you really want to make sure you don't have any ink on there. There's that. Another thing we could do on here is we could bring in those sequins. Why not? Let's bring in those sequins. What colors would we want to add here? There's some fun orange in here. Maybe we want to highlight that orange. So let's take the Take Your Pick tool and yeah, orange or blue. Maybe I want blue. I think I want the blue, you guys. It'll be like a little calmer look. And I'll stick them sort of in the same area as I have on my other card. Maybe not. I'm doing this one a little differently. It's kind of fun. We'll put one up here, kind of where they're all. No, I'm going to put this one somewhere else. Let's put it here. Okay, there, it's done. Let's compare it to the other card that I had completed before the video using a different piece of that beautiful designer paper. So there's that one. The differences on here, obviously I used a different paper. So on the back side it was purple. And I thought that it looked better with tone on tone for this particular strip. So I did Gorgeous Grape onto the back side of this. And then instead of using Gorgeous Grape ink, because then I thought, oh my gosh, that's too much purple, I brought in the pink color from the paper, and that's the Melon Mambo ink down here. Yeah, so those are two different but similar cards using the Sunburst technique. This is not the Sunburst technique, but you saw, and I explained to you how I did this. Now, the reason why I would say, please try to do something like this is because you're gonna have leftover scraps that you do not want to throw away. You could take a lot of these and just kind of like stack them like this, right? And you could do a fun layered look on your card like that, just do kind of with a little bit of gapping between, so you could use up your strips that way too, where they're not turned into triangles, but I turned mine into triangles, and that's just a couple options. So you could do this. So I have the water at the bottom on all of these and the sky at the top, but they're three different papers that I had scraps for. For the back side of this, I am gonna grab the dimensionals that are black, and I'm gonna put one in each corner. Again, you get both kinds, both sizes when you buy the black dimensionals. I also want to mention that if you have a really detailed die, it might help to use the brush tip attachment for the Take Your Pick tool to help kind of get all those little tiny pieces out. Like that's what I used for the netting pieces. Once they were die cut, then I had to get all those tiny little pieces out of there. Okay, let's take off the backings here. Let's add this to the front of this card base. This is basic black. So basic black on basic black, like that. On the inside, let's take and add a white layer so that we can write on the inside of the card. Or I could do like a blue layer, but I do have a sentiment that's already stamped with another stamp set that I want to show you that I think is really fun, especially if you have kids that are my boys' ages. They're not really kids anymore. It is called Thanks Man. And look at all the fun sentiments on there. So I stamped that onto a 1 7/8 inch circle. Punch this out with the circle punch. We'll grab our dimensionals and we'll put 3 on the back side. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Hang on. I'm gonna peel it up. I am, because I forgot to do it and I wanted to. Okay, peeling this up because I want to do this little thing too. Because you can kind of see how there's a little bit of shift going upward here. And I don't want that to be noticeable. So, and I wanted some kind of masculine thread going through here. So we're going to use the linen thread again. And we're just going to do a wrappity wrap around like that. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it one more time. And then we will take and trim the end. And we'll stick this on here because I won't be able to tie the bow. It's going to stick to my grid paper, so hang on. Let's get this on here. Put that back on the card. Okay, now we can take and tie our twine. And let's see here. I think I'm going to tie it somewhat in the middle. Like right around there maybe. Let's stick this guy down too. Let's not stick it down yet because I can't really shift my linen thread now that I have it. Now that I have my card layer on here. Maybe I can. I can usually shift it when I don't have it stuck down. All right, so we've tied a little knot there. I'm gonna bring it through here. Okay, and then we'll stick that on like that. I thought that comment was kind of cool because it looks like rough waters. So we'll take and tie a bow just to get some meat of the linen thread up in here. And then you could do that trick again where you take and curl the linen thread. Give it a little bit of curl so it lays nicely. That's rough, bro. Okay. And then we'll share, I'm going to share some other cards with you, I think. Okay, so let's do that. Let's move on to sharing the other cards because we're running out of time. Okay, hang on. Oh, I do have samples. Let me zoom out. I do have samples of a couple of the cards that I showed you in the blog post in the beginning. The other two I've already sent out to people. So that's one where you use up almost the whole paper. And here's another one, same kind of thing. So you'll want to look back to those blog posts. I've got links to them in the description of the video. Those are also using the Rolling Waves bundle. So I did list that in the products too, even though we didn't use them on these cards I just demonstrated, but I wanted to mention them. And then we have this card. Now this card is not using the full sheet. So I did have to trim off, ends on either side. And that's when I said, oh my gosh, what can I do with all the strips? Okay. So anyways, I made these before I did these cards, but this fun ribbon down here is actually 2 ribbons layered on top of each other. I used the crisp cantaloupe because I felt like that color kind of came through in the sky, right? And so then I layered the gold mesh striped ribbon on top of it and just wrapped the 2 ends around and stuck them on the back side. Okay, I just stuck them down. This here is a die cut piece that is, let's bring the ruler in. It starts out as 3.5, well, it stays 3.5 by 4 3/4. So you're gonna cut that black layer first, then you're gonna put your die right in the middle of it and die cut it, and you'll get that nice little window that will then focus on whatever sun you want from your papers, right? So you have to do this piece first, and then you test out your paper underneath it. You want your sun to be in this window. So once you've figured out where that's gonna go, then you can take and trim up your paper on the sides, bottom, top, whatever, and fit this piece. And this layer of designer paper turns out in the end to be 4 1/4 by 5 3/4 inches. The ribbon was probably a little bit extra long, so it was probably 5 inches each. Again, tucked and wrapped. And you see this sentiment here? That comes from a collection of ephemera, white on black and black on white ephemera. The Greetings for All, I think is the name of this. Yeah, Greetings for All Mix and Match. It does not come in this container. I'm just using a stamp case to hold it. And then you can see that I've also put this layer up with dimensionals. So there's a bit of shadowing in there. This black layer has dimensionals. And I think actually the sentiment does too. Nothing on the inside, but you have room to write. So there's another card. Let me show this next one to you. All right, this next one is very simple looking. And then when you open it up, you're like, ooh, pretty cool. So what I did is I took a half sheet of black, cut it, scored it, and then I die cut from the front part of the card that sailboat image. So in the dies, let's see here if I have them. They're probably behind me. In the dies, we also have this sailboat. So I just laid that on my paper, ran it through the machine, and it cut out that nice little window. So the window then will show through any of those beautiful papers. Let me just show you another paper through there. So you can see it's this one here. I took and put that one in there. But you could take and do, any of the papers would be just stunning inside a window like that. And the black and white papers really enhance colors. They don't distract from it. So if you're using black or white, you're just really focusing in on the color that's within the paper. That's why I chose black and white for my cardstock bases. This is a white little piece that I've stamped and then punched with the banner punch right here. So I just used black ink, stamped it, and then punched it out with one of these little banner punches. And that stamp comes from a different set. I brought in the Banner Sayings stamp set for that, which if you don't have this, they can be bundled together for saving money. I put that up on dimensionals, shifted it over just slightly because I also took and tucked a little loop of that gold mesh ribbon under the left side here. So it looks like this layer is on dimensionals, but it's not. It's just the fact that it's the folded layer over the top. We open it up, and now we have this piece of designer paper with a white section down here for doing any kind of note or signature, wishing you good things, love you, Auntie Rachel and Uncle Tim. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to write a lot, but you got a very pretty card ready to go. Let me show you another card that I did. This one, I did some embossing on. So I did use my Metallics Wow embossing powder, the heat tool, Versamark ink, the Embossing Editions toolkit, and that's how I got the Happy down here. And the Happy does come from the Sunset Coast stamp set, which is part of the suite. And it is either this one or this one. You can use either one, and you're just inking up that portion of the stamp with your Versamark, stamping it down, putting your gold powder on there, heating it up, and you've got just the word Happy on there. For my card, I did have a white card base, and then I had a black layer on top. The black layer is 4 by 5 1/4. So you cut that out, you cut that piece out, then you die cut the middle, then you do your embossing where it's going to be positioned below your ribbon. Then you put your ribbon on. And I did wrap ribbon all the way around. I brought the two ends all the way around, tied a little knot, and then just kind of like secured it in place. I think I might even, no, I don't have a glue dot under there, but you could put one. These little metallic accents here come from the adhesive back metallic gems. So, and then again, designer paper underneath. And you don't need a whole bunch. You just need like a piece that is, gosh, 3.5 by 3.5 would fit under here. And you're going to put that where you want it to go on your card as you're kind of positioning things. Stick it down and then put the black on top with dimensionals. So there's that. I don't think I stamped anything. No, I didn't. But you could put anniversary or retirement or whatever you want to, or birthday, right? You could make that a continuation of whatever the happy is. And then the last card, this one just makes me laugh and giggle. Using that that stamp set again called, here it is, Thanks Man. And this paper is the 4 by 5.25 designer paper cut into little 1/2 inch strips. So 1/2 inch plus 1/2 inch is 1 inch. We have 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches. Okay, so all together you get 4 down and 4 up. And I've taught this before where you take and you stick your strips on here with temporary adhesive, and then you kind of lift one up, roll off that temporary adhesive, stick your piece down with dimensionals. You kind of map it out before you start sticking things down, just in case, you don't want to be too heavy on one side with your white border or too light, you know what I mean? So place your strips down and then start sticking them in place permanently. These are just stuck down with like seal or glue. And these are put on with dimensionals. I think I have like maybe 3. 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and 1 in the middle to lift those pieces up. These are added by gluing them onto the raised up strips, but you could also put some dimensionals underneath them too, between, if you wanted to stick something, say under here or whatever, right? But I just took and stamped them and then literally just cut around them to get some hand cut rectangles, okay? And then again, the embellishments from the suite. Let's bring them all in. That card just makes me laugh and smile, and I just love it. That's because that's the way my kids talk. Okay. All right. We're gonna lay these down so you can see them. And I'm gonna leave these out because I've already shared them in a blog post. Let's see. Will I get them all in here? I'm going to zoom out. I'm zooming out. There we go. And I have a little thing that's yelling at me up here. Hey, now it's not yelling at me. So there we go. All of the fun cards made with the Sunset, let's find it again just to make sure I'm telling you the name correctly, Sunset Coast. And again, this is the suite that we are featuring with the, and I didn't memorize the page, there it is, Scenic Coast, okay, the Scenic Coast suite. This is the suite we are featuring with the All-Star Video Class Bundle this month. You'll want to get your hands on it. It is filled with really cool stuff. I do want to show you one other thing. Oh, and I mentioned, right, like if you place a $50 order, you get that video class bundle, a link to it for free. You also earn loyalty points. Just want to mention that. I want to show you this because this is a project that I had started with all of you in a live where I did this portion of the card. And this is a version made inspired by a card I received from Stampin' Up, right? We went through and did this in a past video. Hang on. Put this back on here. And then with my members, my YouTube members that are supporter members that pay the $5.99 per month, we made this little frame box and this sleeve in another video. And then later on, I decorated it up with this fun stuff. So I will have photos of the finished project in an upcoming really close blog post so that you can take and peek at that. Product of the month. Okay, now I want to share with you some things on my computer really quick. Product of the month. Oh, I don't have a picture of it. Do I have a picture of it? Hang on. Oh gosh, Rachel, hang on. I did have a picture of it. Let me pull it up again. Product of the month. Here we go. We have a stamp set that is super cute and it debuted yesterday. Every month we get a product of the month that debuts and it's available for a limited time. Supplies are small, and when you place a $75 order US through any demonstrator, you can choose to add on the product of the month for an extra $5. So this stamp set is only $5 if you decide that you want to get it with a qualifying order. It's called Wild Bunch. It's so stinking cute. And yeah, I just ordered it yesterday. And then I want to show you, what's the other thing I want to talk about? Oh, new kits. Okay, that's right here. So we got a couple new kits. We have the Shaded Petals kit. These are Kits Collection kits. And then we have the Washes of Gratitude kit that just debuted yesterday. So if you're a kit person like I am, you'll want to get your hands on that. Last Chance Refresh, a whole bunch of products just got put into the Last Chance section of the website yesterday. So you'll want to look through that and see if there's anything that you can't live without. Sometimes it's discounted, sometimes it's not, but just know that when it goes, it's gone, okay? So take a peek at the Last Chance products list. And hang on, oh, upcoming lives. Okay, I'm gonna show you on my computer. We've got some lives coming up, and let's see here. Boom. So for the month of June, we have, right now we're on Wednesday, and we're not doing another one this weekend. I have some things that are in my schedule that don't make it possible for me to do that. But then next week we'll be live on Wednesday. We'll be live at 7 p.m. on Friday. This week is odd because this is my garage sale week. So if you are local or you want to drive here or fly here, you can get in on really great savings from several demonstrators. It's huge. Every year it gets bigger and bigger. And last year we had a food truck. This year we have a food truck on the first day too. So you'll want to show up on the 17th. But because the sale is Wednesday, Thursday, I'm doing my live on Tuesday that week. The link to the calendar, by the way, I think Trisha is sharing that, but the link to the calendar is in the description of my video, so you can find that. And then you can just tune in and see whenever my lives are. And then of course I've got the 24th, 26th for members only. And then we shift again because I have my son coming home. My son who lives in California is coming home on, I think, July 1st. And so I'm going to switch my lives for that week too. He's coming home, and then we're gonna go celebrate 4th of July with family, and it's gonna be fun. So I'll be doing a Tuesday live that week too. So pay attention to the calendar. That calendar, the Google Calendar, is the one that I will change. If there's any kinds of changes, that one gets changed first. So check that out. I think that's it. That was a lot to share, you guys. I hope that you had fun. Trisha, thank you so much for being here on the live with me. And thank you everybody for coming on the live. I'm sorry I didn't get to your questions, but we're running out of time here, and I want to make sure that I let you go so you can enjoy the rest of your day. Trying to think. Oh, the link to the blog post is live, so you can go there and you can see the photos of these cards, the videos in there, product list with visuals of all the products. Yeah, thank you everybody. I hope that you had fun, and now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.